Good afternoon, everyone, wherever you're joining us from around the globe. On behalf of the principal investigators and every one of us at PILAF, I want to welcome you to this edition of the PILAF's Brown Bag series. The Brown Bag series is an interactive knowledge sharing platform designed to foster thought provoking discussions around pressing agricultural policy and development issues. It comes up once every 2 months. I see people are joining in triples, so I would want to crave our indulgence that we uh, maybe give about 2 to 3 minutes to allow other participants to join in. It has always been a very interesting time, educative time during the Brown Bag series, and today is not going to be an exception. We have a very topical issue, and we have a very seasoned expert also that will be doing justice to what we have on ground today. So we kindly crave your indulgence and please let's wait for about 2 to 3 minutes. By 5 minutes after 2 p.m., thereabout, we'll start fully and delve into the program. Our expert is here already on the call, and we will take it up from there. Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone joining in. Once again, you're welcome to the 18th edition of the Pillars Brown Bag series. We made some introduction and some preliminary information earlier. Uh, Today's edition, which is the 18th, will feature a very topical issue, which is tackling the last mile infrastructure gap for smallholder farmers through digital solutions. Like I mentioned earlier, the Brown Bag series is designed to be interactive. We share knowledge about things that are pressing about agriculture and food security in our dear country, Nigeria. The 17th edition was presented by Mr. Joshua Rogunyo of the IFDC on the innovative agricultural programming lessons from the soil values program. Is the M&E person on the soil values program, and it was very interactive, thought-provoking, and enriching. So for today, which is the 18th edition, uh, we are going to be having Mr. Babafemi Adewumi, who will be doing justice to this session. But I don't want to jump the gun. I would invite my colleague, Dorcas, to do the introduction. Dorcas, you have the floor. All right. While Dorcas is trying to fix our device, I think I will just go ahead. Uh, Today we have Mr. Babafemi Adewumi Sunday, who is a business development and partnerships professional. He has over 10 years experience in building programs and securing funding and managing stakeholder initiatives across Nigeria and West Africa. Currently, Mr. Adewumi serves as the business development executive at the Crop2Cash. The Crop2Cash is an agricultural fintech company that provides digital financial infrastructure for smallholder farmers in Nigeria and across Africa. As a BD executive, Mr. Adewumi has led a team that secured a grant worth over 1.5 million USD within a 1 year period, and he has closed multiple business to business partnership deals with organizations, including the USAID. His work at Crop2Cash sits at the intersection of digital payments, agricultural input access, financial identity, and building digital systems. Before Mr. Adewumi joined Crop2Cash, he had senior roles at Innovation Hub, which is one of Nigeria's leading innovation and entrepreneurial organizations. Mr. Adewumi is well lettered. He holds a Bachelor of Engineering in Agricultural Engineering from the prestigious Federal University of Technology in Akure, and a Master's in Engineering from the Federal University of Agriculture in Abeokuta. Interestingly, Mr. Adewumi was selected as a Mandela Washington Fellow, which is the US government's flagship leadership program for young African professionals, completing his leadership in business certification at the Jackson State University in Mississippi. Mr. Adewumi wears a lot of caps. He also mentors entrepreneurs, and he helps early stage businesses through platforms, including platforms like VC4A and Africa Business Hero. Today, he will be sharing a lot of insights about his work, about what he does, and how we can bridge the gap in funding for our smallholder farmers. We all agree with me that uh, funding and credit for smallholder farmers has been a recurring challenge in our agriculture, not only in Nigeria, but even across the South. It has always been a challenge for farmers to access credit and all the dynamics that come with it. So I think we have the right peg in the round hole today, having Mr. Adewumi with us on the call. Without much ado, I will leave the floor so that Mr. Adewumi can come in. Please let's welcome with Mr. Adewumi with an emoji, maybe a clap, a thumbs up. Yes, thank you so much. Mr. Adewumi, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for that warm introduction, Dr. Akano. I want to believe everybody can hear me. Really excited to be here this afternoon. So because of thank you, everyone. I appreciate. So because of the internet quality, I think after a while I might have to go maybe make use of the audio alone. So it's going to be a discussion. It's going to be myself sharing my experience over the past few years working with smallholder farmer, also working with a digital ag tech startup, um, sharing these experiences with us and having a conversation about um, last mile challenges as far as innovating in the agri space is concerned. Once again, I'm very excited to be part of this conversation. While we get started, please, if it's possible, can you make use of the message box just to like possibly drop your name and the sector you work in? It's also for me to have a clear of who we are and who I'm talking to. Trust me, if it happened to be a bit of a physical conversation, maybe we'll have introduce ourselves or take one or two feedback from people. But please kindly make use of the message box, possibly to introduce yourself as we dive into the conversation that we have for this afternoon. Let me share my screen so that we can have. All right, please confirm that you can see my screen, as I might not be able to like read the chats at the moment.
Yes, we can see your screen. We can see your screen.
All right, all right, all right. Thank you, Dr. Oyeguki. Thank you. See your chat. Thank you, everyone. It's also good that we have people in the sector. We have people in the research, also on the call. Yes. So looking at the topic, before us, tackling the last mile for smallholder farmer. It's an interesting conversation for me. And when we look at what the last mile is, maybe we could start from there. The last mile is actually for smallholder farmer, refer to the final and the most challenging leg of the supply chain. Deliver essential inputs to remote areas. So when we talk about the last mile, is how some of the input supply like seed, fertilizer, technology, advisory, or any research is getting across to farmers in the remote areas, the rural location, or even though transporting their harvest to the market. For me, I think I also see myself as a farmer, right? It's so unfortunate that most of our farmers are very in the remote areas, the rural areas, areas that it's far from town, areas that the road network is not that solid, areas that some extent you get to a point the vehicle is no longer an accessible tools that you can use. Maybe you need to jump on bike. Some it might need to ride on bicycle. It gives you the picture of what the last mile actually looks like. The last mile is rural areas whereby basic infrastructures are scarce. Things like commercial banks is very far away. It's 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. You have some areas, especially in the north, where, for example, even though in the southwest, that where you get to, the nearest commercial banks or any infrastructure or major infrastructure that people need, it's more or less like 45 minutes on bike, 1 hour, and things like that. So, and that is where we have our smallholder. That is where we have them. These are farmers also to some extent. The last mile talks about how farmers get tools on time. It could also implicates part of the things that contribute to post-harvest losses, or things that also reduces the enhancement of technology productivity in such an area. So when we talk about some of the key aspects of land mine for smallholder farmer, it has to do with basically around the input delivery, the output logistics, the information and advisory. Majorly the role of an advisory person or extension agent is actually meant to like work with farmers in the rural area. However, statistics shows us that you currently have one extension agent covering around 5,000 smallholder farmer. That's a very big gap. And according to FAO, the normal extension agent to smallholder farmer normally is meant to be 1 to 50, between 40 and 50. But the gap is actually big. It's either most of our extension agent who also happens to be government workers of old age, no more bit of support also from them, and it's a very big deal basically. So most of the intermediary or people that helps in the last mile happen to be like the extension agent who serve as connector that bridge the gap between the supplier, the tech, the innovation, and the smallholder farmer. And it's very crucial for us to know that the final step for success is very important. Without efficient land mine logistics, rural farmer will face high input costs, low price for their produce, and also, they're going to have a big of challenge as far as their input, their product is actually concerned, right? So, going straight to the slide. Sorry. Sorry, a minute.
Yes, Mr. Adewumi, the slides are not flipping on our side.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it's now. It is now. It is now.
All right. Thank you. So let's do a bit of a background to some of the agricultural problem. And for me, the agricultural problem is not things that are new. They are not things that we are hearing for the first time, but basic things like the land, last mile infrastructural challenge are some of the things that have hindered smallholder farmer from actually being able to scale, either scale their product, scale their solution, or scale whatever that they have. And for me as well, I've come to understand that production isn't the problem, but it's scaling. Across the continent or agribusiness, there are a lot of active smallholder farmer, active agribusinesses that remain stuck at survival level. And the truth remains that most current system isn't built for scale. It's just like, it's not because people are not putting effort. It is not because people doesn't know what to do, but the challenges are just there. From the limited finance to fragmented various market, climate, and agribusiness are some of the things that smallholder farmers are navigating with. Currently, we have an average of like 33 to 38 million smallholder farmer in Nigeria. And our food production, 80% of the food production is coming from that big number. But as big as the number is, less than 20% of financing actually go to smallholder farmer. As far as like the total lending to every other sector, less than 20% of those total lending goes to smallholder farmer. Yes, the problem are clear. There's a lot of gap between the financial institution with smallholder farmer. The languages of the financial institution seems to be different from the languages of the smallholder farmer. Also, the smallholder farmer, also based on previous experiences, lacks some bit of trust as far as dealing with either fintech or commercial banks. They see them as people who does not understand their pains, and they want to also avoid the possibility of them coming into the banking or wasting 2 hours, 3 hours for documentation, for NEPA, for a whole lot of things, and that is why. Um, 60% of some of these farmers live in areas that have poor connectivity, basically dominated with feature phone. Yes, nowadays we have, according to statistics, we have a very high good mobile penetration rate. As much as this mobile penetration rate is, power also is still an issue, whereby even the people that uses Android phone in a week might not be able to like have access to power from the grid, and hence they just have to like stick with their feature phone. So when I talk about feature phone, just imagine that you have um, the kind of feature phone that they talked about, the hash light, and you can press the keypad. Why? That can serve them for a while. They can, once they have opportunity to charge, it can take them 3, 4, 5 days to receive calls and things like that. So the gap between the production and financial participation represents not just a single, but it's a very big untapped economic lever in Nigeria, and it's also something that worth for us talking about. Um, Looking at what the major last mile gaps looks like, you want to talk about the physical distance. I remember over the past 2, 3 years when we had to start implementing project in state like Kaduna, Niger, Jigawa, and at times when you want to meet the farmers where they are, I said it's not an easy task. That sometimes you travel as far as you can. When you get to some places, you need to also jump on bike to be able to like get to where this farmer, the community where they are. That sometimes you need to swim. Yeah, you need to, at times you might also need to swim. And these are areas that when you get there, in terms of physical distance, there are no banks, there are no ATMs. They only rely on people like the POS for means of transaction. Transaction is way a little bit expensive. Farmer also have to like travel as far as they could. At times it could be 2 hours. I remember we traveled to a particular communities, and in that communities, I think even though in this 21st century, vehicular movement happen maybe 3 times in a week, maybe Monday, Wednesday, and a Thursday. That is when you can be sure that, oh, you move from the rural area to the town and you can find your way back. Tells you how difficult it is. In terms of connectivity, there are some areas when we travel to, 4G is a luxury. 3G also seems to be a luxury. But some of the things we have there has to do with like you have what we call edge. You know, your phone is on, even the most time when you go with Android phone, you just see no service. But maybe when you go with like a bit of a techno or some of this feature phone, you could see a bit of arch, low connectivity. Such connectivity can only receive call. So when you now build a bit of solution to farmer to say download an app, or you build a solution on app, and to some extent they're struggling with internet, they are even though the cost of also getting internet connectivity nowadays for some of us that were able in the town, it's a lot. Also, you want to talk about digital literacy, you know, about some of these farmers trying to like sign up for data privacy, also for security aspect. Okay, you send them an OTP for them to verify. They're not sure of what OTP means. Also because of previous experiences, some of them also to say that when you receive any number that say press OTP or press any number, don't press it, they will hack your account. Some of them have had some bit of terrible experiences. And that is why for us, visiting some of these farmers in the community, we have the model, we have the process. You don't just get to the fact. There are some areas, there are some communities nowadays that most of the smallholder farmers don't want to see people that are coming to them on the basis of innovation, right? It could mean that maybe, for example, you need to go through the extension agent, the community lead, the community head, who, for example, they believe that their community head have actually done the needful before bringing them in. This lead me to what we talk about trust deficit. We've seen some people in the process of offering support for smallholder farmer, they've actually gone ahead to actually reap some of these farmers, right? So most of them, there are a lot of programs, either through collaboration, through government, through private, and said, hey, register for you to register. It's 1,000, and imagine like 1,000 farmer contributing 1.5, and after such contribution, they don't get to hear about such program anymore. They feel as if like some of their hard-earned currency have been taken away. Also, with some of this land gap mine is also to say that it has to also do with like the mental understanding of some of the smallholder farmers. They feel like any intervention that is coming, it's a freebie, it's a benefit for them. Most of them also are not even willing to pay for any innovation, and that is where the problem is in the agri space. It's not because there are not a lot of innovation, but with some of this innovation, there's a whole lot of factors that comes across that. So let's quickly take a deep dive as regards why standard financial technology fail at last mile. For example, we've seen a lot of individuals, organizations, startups, who to some extent, at times they build fintech solution for smallholder farmer, creating the demand and the supply, having a whole lot of mobile app or web app solution. But the truth remains that for developing or bringing the gap of smallholder farmer, the last mile smallholder farmer, it's like building a solution with the farmer, not for them. So, for example, if you don't have the understanding of who the farmer are, what their challenges are, what their pain points are, you can just go develop something I think that it fits in and never it doesn't fit in. So we've had situation whereby fintech have assumed that farmers need a smartphone or Android phone. Get me right? Yes, there are sometimes these solutions are very important. And that is why, for example, for smallholder farmer, for us, we've been able to also try to like have a bit of what we first of all call a feasibility study for us to understand a terrain that we are expanding to. How many of them are, what's their literacy level? How many of them can use some of this Android phone and things like that? Some of them can become our champion or a go-to person or also an extension agent. Also, you want to also find out in this community, just like what I said, there are no 4Gs, there are no 5Gs. The data is not accessible to them. Talking about internet accessibility. I remember that sometimes when we travel to some of these villages or these communities, right? It's more or less like an excursion. It's area whereby you knew quite all right that if anything happened, nobody will even knew that, you are in places like that. So in places like that, even though the 2G or the edge is unstable, it comes and go. Funny enough that sometimes when we even travel, even some of the places that we launch, just to put our light down our heads, there are some places that you need to hang your phone so that you can receive access to internet. Also, when you're talking about branding and marketing, talking about digital apps in terms of trust vendor, that might not get to them. They don't understand what you're trying to communicate. So at times it might need for you having to make use of local owner agent or extension officer, who to some extent it's not a first-time person to them. It's somebody who have been going to the community, understanding their pain point, introducing new solutions to them, helping them to see how things can be done better. All right. Most time we push for notification and upgrade nudge and things like that, but they are not even aware, right? And that is why most time I remember 2 years ago when we launched one of our products is basically to see how we can leverage on AI. It's a toll-free line where farmer can call the toll-free line in their preferred language, either in Hausa, in Yoruba, and English. This also, for example, for us is to able also to know whether not every farmer can speak or write English. Not every farmer understand English. Not every farmer understand. So they have the opportunity to actually go through. So these are the rural realities, right? So For example, for some of us also that deals with some of these farmers, or we even want to like make purchase. That some of us we want to make purchase. You know, you want to like reach out to farmers and coming. You can't even reach them via mobile phone. You have to take that risk of traveling to the community to go look for them, to make arrangements, you know, and things like that. Those are like the infrastructural gap. They are part of the challenges that the last mile smallholder farmer they have concerns about. So the last mile gap is not just a technology problem; it is beyond technology problem. We want to talk about current problem that we have as a nation. You have insecurity challenges, you have knowledge challenges, you have trust challenges. You know, I said it earlier on. I remember in the process of our work with smallholder farmer, also in the northern part of Nigeria, there are some of them that when you say you are working alongside some commercial banks, is a no-no. In fact, it's a very negative flag, right? Why? It's because most of these institution, don't let me limit it on commercial banks alone, but say, for example, commercial banks has actually become come to those community times without number, only to collect their details, their BVN, their NIN, just to open an account. And after that, they don't find them again. Some also has come to them to promise them that they are willing to actually provide financing for them. But before they provide finance for them, they need to actually make some bit of commitment. But apparently, such never happened. So when you are coming to say we are working with this person because of previous experiences, they feel like these guys are coming to reap them. They are coming to take our details. In fact, to also put a bit of clarity, some of them believe that you've secured a contract with the state government or DFIs, and you are just using them as a bit of research tools, right? And you just put their pictures up there, you write a report. You know, these are realities, right? So the trust it's missing. And also, this becomes a very big trap for people like us or individual who are willing to now go innovate and say they want to try to like solve the problem of smallholder farmer. Number one, some of those farmers will make demand for you to support us. You have to pay us. You have to pay us. You need to also give us some token, you know, and you discover that the whole ecosystem it's a little bit fragmented in terms of design of whatsoever that you are designing. Most time I used to say, tell innovators, before you design either any initiative, any product for smallholder farmer, they need to be on the round table with you. You need to listen to them. You need to listen to them and design for them, not design with them, not actually design for them, right? I'm also talking about the aspect of the incentive problem. Nowadays, I can tell you for free that a lot of innovative solutions that is out there are not being adopted because there is no incentive. Farmer want to say, for me to use your platform, what is the benefit? Even though when you highlight some of the values for them and to say, this is the value for you using my product. This is the value for you using our solution. The question they keep asking you is like the question of why. So, and for you, you also want to think that, okay, being the first time for you using this particular product, okay, you know what, you can get a discount, or for you using this product, we can give you a little bit of token and things like that. And after a while, you discover that that is not also sustainable for you. How long are you going to be incentivizing our farmers from the money that you don't have? And for example, if it's government, maybe government can incentivize. But for young startup or individual private organization coming in, farmers are asking you the question. They need to be incentivized. These are problems. So these are solutions must meet farmer where they are with tools that they can actually use, right? How beautiful it is for you to have a mobile app developed, and some extent when you're about deploying some of these mobile app, you discover that that mobile app is not actually useful for them, or most of them does not have the specification of what your design can work with, right? And that is very important, that digital solution must meet farmers where they are. Whatever tools you want to work with. I remember when I was at Innovation Hub and working with startups that are solving the problem of smallholder farmer. There is a particular innovation that came to say we want to solve the problem of the aquaculture value chain. We had a bit of a stakeholders engagement with some of these smallholder farmers into the aquaculture problem. What is the challenge? What is the problem you are facing? They list about their fishing dying, market, input, finance, and things like that. And you could discover and said, people are saying, okay, what if we have an IoT solution whereby with an IoT tools, maybe a sensor that you can put inside the water, that you can receive a sensitive information about the temperature, the toxicity, and also the awareness of the water, right? Those are solutions that is solving problem for farmers where they are. But if, for example, if we've gone ahead to develop something sophisticated and you just discover that it's not going to work. All right. So for us, part of the things that we've leveraged in, after painting the picture of what the last mile looks like in terms of the physical location, the infrastructure, part of the things we have to do is to see how we can leverage on the local agent network. So we call them the extension of us in their various communities. So for us as well, we have the selection criteria for us how to like select local agent. From experience as well, that sometimes if care is not taken, we've had some of the local agent or we've had some people trying to also take advantage of the community and also of the people that you are, of some of us that we are startup. And sometimes you discover that some of these local agent also go to the community and say, hey, Crop2Cash or X and Y startup is coming to provide this. For you to be beneficiary, you need to sign up or you need to pay me money, and things like that. And those are some of the things that also is eroding the aspect of the trust. But for us, we have various institutions, we have various tech payment gateway, government KYC, the requirement and things like that. But also we also have the rural farmers. Most time, it is very difficult, just like I said, for these people to believe you when you are coming in, irrespective of what you are coming. There is a bit of a suspect. These guys are coming to scam us. Also, for you that are trying to innovate, they're also trying to look at it that I'm not doing a freebie. I'm not doing a bit of incentive. I'm not giving out free effort to farmer. I'm also trying to see how I can help them make business since it's agribusiness. Oh, so you need to have the middleman either as a bit of an extension agent or a community leader who to some extent can understand your language and also can understand the language of a farmer. So when we look at the complex digital economy, you talk about the APIs of this with the payment gateway. For farmers prefer to say that, you know what, I prefer to deal with you in cash. In fact, when we were doing input financing sometimes ago, 2-3 years ago, part of our plan for the partners we were working with is for us to be able to like do a bit of digital payment because every of those farmers have access to wallets. We have a USSD whereby farmer can sign up and in 2 minutes they have access to a wallet that is tied down to a bank. So we actually profile them, we offer them input financing. During the period of recovery, we actually struggled to recover some of those loans that we gave to farmers. Why? Farmers, maybe part of infrastructural gap. Farmers just feel like, you know what, I won't go to bank to go and pay you guys. Also, some of them stack millions of naira under their bed, inside sack. That is part of a way they trust the way that they don't want to have issues, they save their money and things like that. So imagine you want to go and recover loans, say like 300K per farmer, and you can't go to such community and you want to say you want to aggregate like 10 million. Your safety also is not also guaranteed, right? Your safety also is not guaranteed. So part of the things that we try to do is to see how we can also find a bit of a payment gateway whereby we have a local agent who can collect that money, send us that money maybe once in every week or twice in a week and go to bank if the money is too much and do that. So most of these farmers, they love to transact with you with cash transaction. Also, you need to also have solutions that can work offline, right? So part of the things that Crop2Cash did was basically to build a solution around a USSD solution. with or without an Android phone, with or without an internet. In fact, you don't need to even need an internet for you to be able to like actually, what do you need? You need access to quality input, so you can have a marketplace store whereby you can actually make an order. Yes, as beautiful as that solution is, it's also a problem somewhere. How do we get these products in trickles, that comes in trickles, to the last farmer who is ordering in a very remote area? You know, then we begin to think about something around aggregations, right? So please, sorry, please, if you have questions and things like that, you can drop it in the chat box. We can also, so that you don't forget, before we get to the aspect of the question and answer. Just trying to like share experience majorly. So also, another problem is like there are some communities, yes, it's an Hausa speaking environment, but not everybody speak Hausa. Some of them speak Fulani, the Fulani language and things like that. So just beyond some of those things, you need to also try as much as possible that the agent is trained. You have the agent that you are working with, possibly have an agreement with them, establish a bit of a trust anchor. On that note, they could trust them, they know they stay with them, and things like that. And also you also that you're innovating also need to have some bit of things in place to be able to like also take note of that. One of the things also that we notice is while working with some of these smallholder farmer, is also for us to leverage on technology. So for example, because some of them feel like it's a national cake. So there are some set of people that want to always benefit from every infrastructure, every opportunity that comes. For us, one of the ways that we do is like for every farmers that we have, good for us that we have, everybody have a BVN, which is the bank verification number, which is unique to individual. You could discover that maybe you profile like 100 people that you want to provide finance for. And if you don't also work with the bank, and that is why solving the problem of last mile involve all the actors actually working together. And it's not something that could be done in silo. So you get the details of this farmer, you get their BVN, you share the BVN with the commercial banks you are working with. And trust me, maybe out of 100, it's only 50 of them that pass the credit check. Why? Maybe some of them already have an existing loan that they've not paid. Some of them are currently benefiting from a particular opportunity. And if care is not taken, you could discover that you could miss it, right? So one of the things that we've tried to do is to build a financial ecosystem around the feature phone. Part of the problem that commercial banks also do have is to say, we don't know this farmer. We don't know who they are. There's no traceability of what they've done. Interestingly, some of them have been farming for the past 6 years, but there is no financial record to show that. As some of you are listening to me right now, some of you can, maybe with your MTN or with your Glo, you can dial a code and borrow Airtel. Why? Because over the past few years, Airtel or some of the telcos already know your buying power. They know that you recharge about 5,000 in a month. So if you need 1,000 naira a recharge card, they won't see it as a big deal. The same thing, some of us can also get a loan from even a loan app from our banks. Why? They see our transaction history. But for smallholder farmers, such is missing, right? You don't know who they are, you don't know their capacity. So hence, it's very difficult. So part of the things that we do is to build a solution around them. I talked about the USSD solution that works offline. From there, they can save money, send money, receive payments and things like that. With them not just leaving their forwards, that is one. Also, part of this is like the end-to-end payment trayway. So, for example, we've tried as much as possible, not just to make it a standalone solution, but also a solution that can also become a lifestyle for them. So let's think of OPay, MoneyPoint, all these commercial banks, mobile app or their USSD, who to some extent is in collaborating agriculture also to it, so that farmers does not need to go off their platform to get things done, right? That could give us a visibility. This is the kind of feature phone I'm talking about. With this, they can go anywhere. Farmers can also call, receive advisory, weather advisory, weather information, weather pattern, not necessarily as googling. We have a lot of friends and partners who does that. Ignitia is also one of the great partners who to some extent give agricultural data, agricultural weather pattern, right? And these are people that we've worked with. So the beauty of it also building around some of these financial mobile tool is to, like, I remember 2022, we went to a community and we said, farmers, please don't try to like apply agrochemicals to your farm on Tuesday around 3 o'clock and things like that. Some of them were like, what do you mean? Are you guys good? But some extent, some of them did not apply, some did. And maybe around 20 minutes after, two or thereabout, it started raining heavily. And said they gave us a call. Wow, it rained. It rained. So there's also a way that we can build trust, leveraging on technology and working with the same farmers that we are working with. All of these things also is built on their mobile, because, for example, the distance, the accessibility, and that is why that has become a tool for us. I don't want to bore us so much with a lot of the credit building flyways, right? Which, for example, they talk about the methods that we use in actually creating the financial identity for smallholder farmer. Part of the things that we also do is for us to say that if a farmer keep using Crop2Cash platform for a period of time, it's easier for us to actually understand the need of farmer. That's number one. It's easier for us to present such farmer case to the financial institution. It's also easier for us to say that, oh, guys, I've been partnering with you, I've been purchasing input, I've purchased input worth 200,000. I'm stranded. I need like 10,000 loan or 20,000 loan just to be able to like do a stage in my agriculture. Why not? We'll be willing to do that because we have the information. So here are the flow process that we use from the onboarding to verifying of them. Yes, let me talk about reason why the aspect of verification is important. Most time I go on the feed most of the time, and you discover that when you are trying to actually also help farmers are not trying to help themselves. Maybe not farmers, maybe we generally as human. You discover somebody who tries to just go copy the BVN of another person, and you just discover that the names are not matching. At times, some of them even have an ID card where you look their faces, you look at the face of the person that is being captured. It's different. And that is why, for example, every partner needs to do the due diligence. That is why technology also is very important. So we get their BVN. When you get their BVN, then you get a wallet. From that, you transact on our platform. After you transact, you can purchase, you can send input, you do your loan payment, repayment. That gives you a financial identity. And that also is solving the problem of the financial partner to say that we don't know who they are, we don't know who they are. In fact, there's some opportunity that comes. And also the banks want to also see who these farmers are. So from there, also we provide advice, AI to free line, which give them agronomy support between helping them all year and all season. We are currently in a time whereby the climate change is very real. I remember talking about the 9-month forecast for this year, especially for Southwest, especially for Ibadan or for Oyo State. I remember vividly. I think they gave a prediction of 13 to 16 of April that the rain will start falling. But we have some people that have actually planted way earlier because they saw the first rain or the second rainfall. But some extent, through weather advisory and some of those things are things that we could help them. Thereafter, when farmer you keep using this, then we'll be able to like have their scorecard, their transaction history, plus the data give us the ability to create a bit of a credit score for them, which also make it to say that this farmer is bankable or is supportable, right? Those are some of the big deal that we work with. This also just show you a bit of an interface. So Crop2Cash uses *346*47#, which is our USSD solution. We designed with this feature, right? Why? Is because some of them, they check their credit balance, they borrow money, they recharge card, they make recharge with the USSD. So there are things that is used to them. They need little training for them to navigate the USSD solution. Okay, maybe you want to require for loan app, you press 4, then the press 4 bring you to the next phase, press 1 to enter, and you discover that they go through it. Though each of these also has its own challenges, but we try as much as possible to improve of that. So if your solution requires a smartphone or a mobile data, maybe for example, it's possible that you've excluded some percentage of farmer in the rural area because it's a challenge to them. And that is some of the things that help us to actually build the cash card infrastructure, which enables smallholder farmers to receive digital payment. In fact, most of the time when we go to the communities to go and do sensitization or community engagement, part of the things is like we also do a demo. You know what? Sign up. When you sign up, I try to like send money to them personally. I say, oh, I received money. From the money you received from your wallet, can you send it or can you buy a recharge card? These are some of the ways, even though with their feature phone. Also on this feature phone, we have a marketplace store. We've been able to secure partnership with major stakeholders across the value chain, from the input to insurance. Some of the big guys, we have them on the platform. So you discover that in the north, maybe farmer prefer to make use of Jubilee, or they prefer to make use of Saro Agroscience or Sitco. But in Southwest, maybe Southwest, they don't like more of Sitco, they prefer Premier Seed and the like. So we've been able to bring together. Also, why doing this is also to bring a bit of originality to smallholder farmer. A lot of some of these inputs in the market are already adrotated. Some of these products are adrotated. So you discover that a farmer is buying agrochemical, is buying seed, buying it exorbitantly, but it's fake. And that is why creating a bit of a bridge between the producer and this smallholder farmer, it's a way to go for us, basically. Those are some of the things. It's an end-to-end trade. We replace the 4-hour trip to the bank with an install, localized, and digital clearing, right? It's a way for us to also build, leverage on technology to build across the value chain. At the moment, we are not everywhere. We can't do everything, but we focus basically on crops that has to do with grains, like rice, like maize, like soya. Those are, and also other agrochemical products. Those are some of the things that we do, right? So that we can have a bit of time for us to communicate and also to discuss. Let me just wrap up this. How we are neutralizing the last mile friction is basically to actually work with farmers in clusters, work with farmers who are in a cooperative, not just an individual, right? So the norm could be like something structured, norm limiting women's phone ownership or things like that. But for us, we want to have a scenario whereby farmers are in cluster, they know themselves, they can also cross-guarantee themselves or reducing risks. While we also do this, we've also tried, if you remember why I started, I said part of the problem also is the incentive problem. So for us as well, we've been able to say that, you know what, let's say, for example, you want to buy our input from us. If you buy through our platform, you get a 5% discount. But if you want to buy maybe from our store or you want to make an order, you might not get a discount. For us, it's a way to like also see that people use that, they sign up and they have a bit of a cash back, you know, with what they have. Also is for us to also try to see how agent assisted offline has actually helped us in getting across some of the areas whereby technology has not really fully get into. Part of the ways that we also replace the place of collateral, which is like a very big, is to say that, right, commercial banks, we want to serve as a collateral or an obligo for this loan that you are giving to smallholder farmer. So we create a bit of alternate credit scoring based on their history, their guarantee, and things like that. It's more than the way we have it. And for us, we've had a very high fraction. I remember when we started, 2 years or 3 years down the line, from some of the data we have, we discovered that 40 to 50% of some of the farmers we onboarded are using financial solution for the first time, right? Which also means that we are solving the aspect of financial inclusion, right? Some of them, they stack their money under the pillow. At times when you go, you collect money in bundles, dusted with a lot of dust in it because, for example, they are not online, they are nowhere to be found. They feel like it's disturbing for them to actually have such solution. Also in season 2, we discovered that the dependency on agents, farmer using our product is reducing. So we discovered that farmers because we get to listen to their feedback. We design based on what they want. We optimize the process so it's easier for them to actually do with or without an extension. And also the impact also for us is like it also increase a bit of their yield. There's a lesson and also there's a saying which I also believe numbers of farmers onboarded is a vanity metrics. Um, for us, when we started, when we are talking to people, we have over 200,000 smallholder farmers that sign up and things like that. Those numbers looks huge, but beyond huge, how many of these farmers are our returning customer? How many of these farmers are using this product as a solution, on their farm? And these are some of the things that we want to um, do to also ensure that we are not just rolling out product, but also onboarding, but also for us to see that it's solving a smallholder farmer solution. As we wrap up, yes, we have the numbers. We've also get big. With most of our solutions that we've done have been audited by independent organization, like 60 Decibel, like other organization partners that have worked with us. Behind us have gone ahead to discuss with smallholder farmer, and they are the one that actually gave us some of this number that we are quoting. Farmers actually have reported an increase in their yield and also a bit of a yield increase, which is attributed to like climate resilient input that they've received, right? For us, for everybody that is listening to me this afternoon, for us to scale the model, it requires a systemic collaboration, not just an individual, either as a research organization, as an investor, or as an ecosystem player. We are open, we want to work together. And that is part of the ways that we can like work with each other to support ourselves and to build a solution that is doable for smallholder farmer. So for us, we remember when a government does the anchor borrower scheme previously, because there are no consequences, there are no basic KYC. A lot of people did not pay back, right? And for us, yeah, it's like one of the basic way to go for us, and one of the way to go is for us actually working together to actually build the last mile solution. The last mile gap is not just a technology problem. Just like I said, it is a trust, it's a design and an incentive problem. The solution are working. So it's just for us to say, let's get them, let's work together as partner. Let's put together what is needed to actually scale what we have. Thank you everybody for like giving me the past a few minutes of your time. It's just for me actually sharing from experience some of the things that we've done over the past few years. So I know we have some. Thank you, everybody. We have some couple of questions. I don't know, maybe Dr. I kind of want to step in here, or I can just go straight to some of the questions that we have on our chat bots. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Thank you for the very succinct and rich presentation. I I know that everybody on the call will agree with me that this has been very eye-opening and thought-provoking. It's interesting to see what is ongoing and how we are working towards developing and enhancing the last mile delivery for our smallholder farmers and for our agriculture in Nigeria. One of the things that struck me when you were speaking was leveraging solutions like the USSD, offline savings, offline payment solutions, seeing that we don't have a one-size-fits-all solution to the challenges of our smallholder farmers. For some of the projects, naturally we might think, okay, let's give mobile phones to farmers, but have you checked, do they all have network in their rural areas? Do they have even accessible roads for benefiting from some of these programs and deliverables that can enhance their productivity and so on and so forth. So I know a lot of people have questions. I think some are already in the chat box. But if you have a question for Mr. Adewumi, can you just signify? If we have questions, can we just?
Okay, maybe
Okay,
before
maybe before
taking those
taking
questions,
those
sir,
questions, sir. Okay.
I have like
I have
two
like
questions that they three questions that they drop in the chat box so that we will not that question came in from Oluwaseun Bamigui. So let me quickly so the first question has to do with like, does the fund support other aspect of farmers' need, which has to do with health, education, aside from agricultural activity? So for us, the focus is to say that once the fund provide for them, once this improve their productivity, their yield, it also means that they have more money that they can use to cater for other aspects of their life. But currently, the fund is basically to actually improve their yield and their production. So supporting farmer with a quality climate resistance solution, it's also a way that we think that once they have that, and for example, I remember 3 years ago, for farmer per hectare, the yield is very low, very low. I think around 1 or 2 tons per hectare. But some extent, working with improved variety of yield and also training and agro support, we have farmers actually doing double of what they previously used to produce, and it also means more money for them, right? So the second question is, and is there any way to verify if the fund release is basically used for agricultural activity? Thank you very much. For us, monitoring and evaluation is very key. With part of the reason why Crop2Cash does not give cash money for smallholder farmer is because to reduce diverting of that money for some other activities. Funny enough, we've seen scenarios whereby you give out inputs that is meant to improve farmers' productivity, and then you discover that they go back to sell it. They don't use it. So that is why most time farmers that we finance, they're in cluster. We have extension agent also that help most of the time. And once we discover that some of those things actually happen, in fact, from experience, we've seen scenarios whereby from the process of auditing smallholder farmer, there's a bit of an identity theft, right? They are not the person, they show up, they put their, these are some of the things. So for us, we have an extension agent that helps with the aspect of monitoring and evaluation. And the last question is like, are there ways to get feedback assessment from the farmer of our Crop2Cash operation? And yeah, so for us, with some of the partners that have worked with us, the likes of GSMA, USAID, and the likes, we've had not once, not twice, not 3 times, independent organization like 60 Decibel, other organization currently, we are currently, let me use the word, being audited by an organization, which, for example, yes, they do that and they share those reports with us. They share all those feedback, right? And for example, we are very much open to some of this feedback. That sometimes some of them could have some bit of technical glitches, maybe to some extent they have issues, which some extent it still boils down to the aspect of infrastructural gap. That sometimes you cannot just but help it. Maybe there's a technical downtime from some of the telco partner that we are using and things like that. So those are some of the feedback. Yes, we are open to that and we do receive that time to time. And we have also an in-house customer support team that takes feedbacks regularly. So farmers can reach out to them by themselves through the WhatsApp or through the direct mobile number. All right, thank you. That was a question from the chat bot. So I think we can go ahead to take the question from people that their hands are up.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Bamgoye, for the question. I see only one hand up. Oyewale Oyegoke. If I'm correct, I see only one. So I would want us to take his question and probably any other person that has a question so that our resource person can take the answers together. Mr. Oyewale, you have the floor.
Thank you. Can you all hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, we can. Please go ahead with your
Okay.
question. We can.
Okay, great. So thank you so much, the presenter, for your educative and insightful presentation. My name is Oyegoke Oyewale. My question is tripartite in nature, but I won't. I will quickly ask them. So my first question is: yes, farmers having access to input, but I want to be sure the measures you put in place in order for them to have quality input, and also to apply this input at the recommended rate. That is number one. Secondly, you made mention of farmers forming groups. I want to know what criterion or criteria you put in place for these farmers to form a cluster. Then lastly, in terms of loan recoupment, what are the measures that you also put in place for you to recoup your loan to a large extent, at least maybe 70 to 80%? Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Mr.
you very much,
Ayewale.
Okay.
Mr. Iwale.
Yes.
I don't think we
Yes.
have any other person on the call that is signifying to ask a question. So I think we'll just take the response from you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ayewale, for your question. So let me start from the third question, which has to do with the aspect of loan repayment. Um, yes, we despite various mayors on ground, people will still be people, right? Farmers will still be farmers, right? For us, we already put in part of the maybe part of the criteria that we put in place before we even finance farmer. Number one is to have these farmers in cluster, have them with a registered association that they also try to like cross guarantee themselves. Some of those things are a way for us to mitigate the risk, just not waiting to when the loan repayment has happened. But lessons have taught us over the past few years of how to better deal with farmers. When we started, we've had scenarios whereby we've used different strategy because we know that this loan is not crop to cash loan. We are not borrowing from crop to cash balance sheet. It's a money from banks that we are liable and we must pay back. So most time, so part of the things that we do is like we've already created a bit of a crop work flow. We know that when the farmer plants, we know when the harvest is going to be ready. So we start repayment from the period that harvesting is starting. We monitor them. We make use of the extension, the staff to also, most of them, while they are selling, they are paying, maybe some of them pay instrumental. Some of them are truthful, they pay at one. Some of them also are saying that irrespective of what you want to do, I will not pay. So we have people in those clusters, right? And it's not just a crop to cash experience alone. We have a lot of startups also that are doing input financing. In fact, I can tell you for free that the percentage of people that do input financing currently has dropped drastically, because if care is not taken, you discover that things that are meant to be civil issue, you are trying to see how police can help you, how community leader can help you. But to some extent, we are trying to like get in maybe with a normal loan tenure time. We are trying to like eat the 70% loan, but 30 is still quite much for us to pay back. So within the little extension period, we try to like see as much as possible to drive down the loan repayment rate to like 80, 90, as the case might be. So we start that from who we even give money in the first place, right? That is one. For farmer forming cluster, most time we are not just the one that is going to form ask farmer to form a cluster because we don't know them. So most time it used to be like an existing farmer cooperative before. We take a step further to ensure that these cooperatives are even registered. They have regular meeting, right? So currently in Ibadan, I have some farmers within Ibadan Access, Ijayi, farm settlement. They're in cluster. They have ESCOs, they have president, and things like that. They can coordinate themselves. So coming into a little well structured organization, we talk to one or two people. In fact, that sometimes you see some of these people and say, sir, this man used to give us problem, because now you are letting them to know that the organization is at risk. What is the organization bringing? So for them also not to be at risk, they also want to try as much as possible to ensure that they don't put in people that can give them problems. So such an association must be part of an association that is already existing. They are good in what that they do and things like that. Those are some of the criteria that we use. Your first question has to do with like, what measure do we put in place for quality input and to ensure that those farmers use it accordingly? Number one, education, agric education is something that we value so much as an organization. For every farmers that we do finance, we used to have a bit of sensitization. In fact, for some of the agro inputs that we are going to give to them, we do work in partnership with their agronomists, with our own in-house agronomists to organize a training for this farmer. We do sample, we do demo. In fact, I remember in 2022, when we wanted to do GSMA project, we advised farmers that farmers, you need to plant one per hole. You know, the most ideology before for them is like you plant in twos or you plant in threes, but they argue it out. But, you know, with the example of creating a demo farm very close to them to see what we are trying to say, it's also it's like a deciding factor, right? For them to actually understand that that works. So for us, we do training. We also try to like also ensure that the input that we are getting, for example, when you talk about Sitco, talk about Saro, when you talk about Chubali, one of the interesting things about some of these partners is they have a drop box, they have a warehouse across the 36 states in Nigeria. So there's no state you get to that you don't have Sitco office sitting down there. So we also ensure that these input are, we discuss with them, it's a partnership. We get it, we don't get it from the side. And this also gives us that when we get a feedback from our farmers that we planted, because we carry out a bit of a germination rate for people that plant and they don't have a good germination rate. It's part of our agreement. The partners also step in to see how they can actually get that sorted out. Yes, those are some of the ways that we handle the three questions that you provided. Thank you. Also, I have this question coming from the box. Representation. I can also relate to the experiences with farmer as extension personnel. Thank you. Does the organization have any strategy to connect farmer to consumer or off-taker to bridge the marketing and post-harvest losses? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Most time, it depends on so if, for example, if the financial institution is saying, or the part, let's say the DFIs that are provided the fund is saying, they want us to work with an off-taker. I remember in 2018, 2019, the project we did with GIZ is basically to like test the off-taker solution that we built in-house. For us, yes, we also have some of those stakeholders engagement meeting with those farmers and also have a bit of an agreed price at the end of the day. But currently, you know, there's a whole lot of dynamics of fluctuation that happen. But we have it being talked out, being agreed. But if that is one, depending on who is providing the money. Also, if the farmer is requesting for us to actually have, let's take, for example, 2 years ago, when we financed farmer, we didn't have an off-taker to come in, but we were glad that we did able to take that decision. Because while we were projecting as an organization, a bag of maize goes for as far as maybe 50, 60, depending. But the crash in the price of the market, right, with the prevailing market, cut as far as maybe 20-something thousand per bag and things like that. It also have effect on the repayment, on the loan repayment, because now farmers don't want to sell because, for example, it's not the best time. So these are part of the realities that we also experience as far as this is concerned. But where needed, especially for things that are vegetables, we are currently having a bit of ongoing conversation with Lagos State government as with tomato vegetable value chain, and the agreement is to have an off-taker. And for example, with part of experience, personal experience, because I manage farms and I manage farm for people. For tomato season, that sometimes the prices fluctuate, and we always let farmers know that, or the owner of the farm or farmers know that we will sell your product based on prevailing prices of the market of that day. So, for example, for last week, tomato, crate of tomato can go for 40,000. Today, it could go as 18,000. So, also people that are taking, they don't want to also run at loss, right? Because they also try to like create market and things. So, there are dynamics to that, but we make provision for that where necessary. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, our audience, for the questions, and thank you so very much, our resource person, for throwing more light on some of the things that the people on the call are yearning to know more about. I don't know if any other person has a question. If there are no more questions, I would want to invite at this point our administrative manager to give some closing remarks and appreciate our resource person.
All right. Sorry, apologies. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much. I need to appreciate every one of you for creating time to join this session, and I believe it has been so enriching. But I think I have a question, which is, your last slide, the slide before this. I don't know. Can you share, Mr. Babafemi? Can you share the slide? No, there's another one I saw where you said that if any intervention does not, or rather requires a smartphone and data, 60% of farmers have already been excluded. I think that particular, that's very instructive, and it's it's not here, one of your slides, as I saw it there, and I think that is very, very important to note. Any intervention, any digital technology that requires data and that requires a smartphone automatically means that you have excluded 60% of farmers. And even those, and that is just real, because even those of us in the cities, we have having data challenges, poor connectivity, so how much more rural farmers? So my question to you is, what specific intervention, sorry, before maybe I give maybe like a closing remark, if there is no other question, please, I think we're still open to taking questions. We still have some time. We have 12 minutes more. So those of us that still have questions, please, we are free to ask. So I want to ask, so what particular intervention, is what technology are you providing to mitigate or to solve this problem, to deploy technologies that do not require phones, smartphones precisely, and data? Thank you. That's my question.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. And I think this part is actually also speaking to farmers in the primary production line, farmers in the rural area. This data speaks to them. But for innovators that are solving problem for maybe production or processing, the nature of people in those areas are different. So, but for this part, so for us at Crop2Cash, some of the things with technology we've actually put in perspective is two major technology. The first one has to do with the USSD solution, which require no internet penetration to use. As little as the connectivity that they have, mobile connectivity they have, they can solve through, they can pass the information across. That is USSD. Also, another thing also that we've built, which to some extent is currently also still being worked on, has to do with like leveraging on AI. So I think 2 years ago, with the support of GSMA, we tested creating a bit of a national hotline for agriculture, which also with the support of the University of Ibadan extension department. We've also tried to like work with them. So it's easier we have a mobile number that a smallholder farmer can call, interestingly select their preferred language and talk to digital AI, say, hey, My name is Babafemi. I can speak in English. I can choose to speak in English or Yoruba. Ẹ jọ̀wọ́, gba ọ ni ó dára fún mi láti gbẹ àgbàdo. You know, ask your question in your preferred language, and you listen to it as if you are conversing with woman. That is also a bit of something innovative that it's free, right? During the period of we actually testing it out, it's free. So farmer can pick up a toll-free number. And part of the things that we are doing currently also is to see how we can establish partnership either with telcos, with government, to say how can this particular innovation be scaled globally? Can we have digital extension service being sponsored by the government, and say for farmers in Oyo State or farmers in any state, call in at any point in time. This is also solving the problem of the digital extension agent to a farmer, to now say that everybody can pick their mobile phone and ask questions. So we try to like also work with research institutes and some other things to be able to like find out how the information they are getting also is not against what is needful. So for us, we are solving this, we are leveraging on what farmers are already used to. They call out on their phone, they speak, they also use the USSD. And also, we also have our trained extension agent at some reasonable area where farmers can also reach out to them and speak to them. So those are some of the areas that we engage digitally with a smallholder farmer. As much as farmers are today, we have some farmers that some extent, maybe because of trust issue or previous experiences, they are also skeptical dialing code. Oh, they dial a code somewhere. Last year, they removed everybody's bank account. These are issues, but these are ways that we are also trying to work with them, building trust gradually. Yeah, thank you.
So thank you very much for that feedback, and I think it's well noted. So I think it's a bit clearer to me, you know, the solutions that you deploy that can you know, navigate its way past smartphone, the need for smartphone and data. So I think Oyewale Oyegoke, do you have your hand raised? You still want to ask something or say something?
Sorry, sir. I think it's a mistake.
Oh, okay, that's okay. So I think my job here is to close down the today's session.
I think Dr. Benjamin Oyelami hand is also up, sir.
Oh, great, Dr. Ilami. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. I hope I'm audible.
Yes.
To everyone. Okay. So my quick question to our presenter, it's been a great presentation. Thank you for the presentation. Is that there is this notion that digital solutions in Nigeria, particularly some companies, some organizations that are trying to deploy digital solutions, are operating in silos. That notion is there. And I just want to ask, does Crop2Cash work together with the government? And all these solutions, are we thinking, or what are efforts from your end, or what are efforts you have noted or you have noticed being put in place to upscale this solution such that nationally we can say that we are making progress in terms of addressing extension need via the digital means? Thank you very much.
Right, thank you for your question. I think we could just take the two questions as one. Mr. Joseph, I also see your hands so that we can just take the two questions at once. Thank you. Please.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Presenter. That was a wonderful presentation with a lovely slide that attracts attention. That's nice. So my question is, number one, I'm sorry I joined late and my attention was also distracted at some point. So don't be offended if I ask a question on what you have already said. So I just want to, you know, get an insight. So my question is this: number one, do farmers get um information by kind of text message, like feedback message, or must they call the toll-free line? Is it just call, or can they also get um send maybe via the USSD, press one thing, click to another, one number to another, and get information without speaking to any agent? That's number one. And secondly, I also needed to know the language, the different languages available. Do we have a lot of all the languages in Nigeria at this point, or do we just have, say, the three main languages that we, Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba, so, or do you have more on the platform? Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for your question. For the two questions. So starting from the first question, the notion that digital solution in Nigeria are operating in silo. So for us, yes, that is true, sir. I know it's true. For example, while I was presenting, I said that we are not focusing on all the crops or all the value chain. We are just focusing on selected crops and things like that. Also, our areas of support also differs. So that sometimes it's good also to have a lot of player in the market. But for us as well, for some people or areas whereby we see area of collaboration, we are very key on collaboration, right? We are very key on collaboration to collaborate with people. Also, because most businesses or most because most businesses or most thank you because most businesses are trying as much as possible to also see how they can become sustainable. It's also a kind of a business for them. But for us at Crop2Cash, we are open to collaboration, and it's sweeter if, for example, having the understanding of if since it's not an open solution, that sometimes if coming together as a group, if we could have a modem of how individual can get value for money or get money for the value that they are creating, I think maybe that could be an advice that can make people to work together, right? A shared cost, working together will lead to a shared cost, more impact, and on that. The second question, currently, yes, Nigeria is blessed with so many language opportunities. But for us currently, we've only been able to come up with the English, the Yoruba, the Hausa, and at times Pidgin, right, for our USSD solution, and also the toll-free line. Yes, a farmer can actually go through. So for us, where farmer receive SMS is if, for example, if you are doing information awareness, we could send an SMS to farmer either to check and update or to get or a farmer can dial our code, go through, maybe if we need an advisory or if you need to get a product, you don't need to like actually interact with an agent. It's something that they can actually go through by themselves. So they don't need to actually speak to somebody if that is not needed. They can actually, it's an end-to-end solution that they can get off, and we get whatever that they need at the back end. Yeah, so those are more or less like responses to most of the questions that have been asked. And also the question of Dr. Benjamin, I think I look forward to a day whereby from the research institute to government to private sector, where we can actually have a common goal. And the reason is because a lot of people, especially some of us, we've got our hands burned. And that is why, for example, when you talk about government, we've seen scenarios whereby we are working, we never even know the government policy, and you just got that in the community you are working with, government is subsidizing fertilizer. So it's easier for farmers to even get whatever that you are doing, subsidizing it or using it for their personal. So it's a very, I think it's a system issues that needs to be addressed systematically. So that's how I'm going to answer that question, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Adewumi, and thank you for all the questions, our dear participants. We are at the top of the hour, and I think our head of administration will still want to come in to do some final words and appreciate everyone and our resource person. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Akon. So before I do that, yes, and I will start with you, Dr. Akon, and Mr. Babafemi. His name is actually Akon. The pronunciation, I noticed you didn't get the pronunciation very well. But having said that, I would like to thank you very much, Crop2Cash, represented by Babafemi Adewumi Babafemi. Thank you very much for the great presentation. Your slides alone, somebody mentioned, I think it was Joseph who mentioned, who talked about your slides. Your slides, very, very catchy. And I think those of us that are students here, and even those professionals, we can take a cue. We can learn from, there's always we always learn from every engagement, every opportunity we have, and your slides are very powerful. So I believe we have your slides. We don't have it, please share with us. And I also want to believe that we can share with all the participants here, right? Mr. Babafemi, can you confirm that we can share the slides? Please quickly confirm.
Yes,
great.
Yes,
so if we don't have, so we'll reach out to you, we'll get the slides and we can share with all participants. So I would like to thank you again, Mr. Babafemi, for doing justice to the topic, which is very, very important. Over the years, we've always talked about smallholder farmers. They are the ones who feed the nation, who do all of this, but yet they are disadvantaged in so many ways. And your organization, Crop2Cash, has taken. You cannot solve all the problems, but you have taken a niche. You have put yourself in that niche to be part of providing solutions, and we are happy to be part of to be a collaborator with you, and we believe that we'll continue to have other things that will engage together. Everybody. I would like to thank you very much for creating time. I will believe that you have learned something. Please, you can quickly fill the Google form just for us to get your details. Otherwise, you could reach out to anybody in Pillar. We hold this brown bag series once in 2 months, and the idea is to bring together industry, researchers, and other policymakers and other stakeholders in the agri-food system to discuss, issues affecting the agri-food system in Nigeria and how to prefer solutions. So we'd like to thank you all again, and wish you a good rest of your day. Thank you, and bye-bye. And I hope to see you in the next Brown Bag series. I think I will hand over to Dr. Oreakon, maybe for any final words. Thank you all.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining in. Please kindly fill the attendance link in the chat box. We'd like to have your details so we can even share the slides with you hereafter. Thank you so much. See you on the next Brown Bag series, and enjoy the rest of your day.